All right. Well, it's great to have you guys with me today. Today, I have the distinct pleasure of having the mayor of Eastvale, Brandon Plott, on our Zoom call today. How are you doing today, Mr. Mayor?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. It's a nice day. It's warm. It's a beautiful day, man. Definitely doing well.
Have you gotten your stimulus check yet?
You know what? I actually got it this morning.
So did I, man. So today just got a lot better because of that, didn't it?
I know, absolutely. But just make sure spending U.S. goods, and if you want to do something better, make sure you're spending it in Eastvale if you can.
Oh, that's so good. I love that. We got to support our own city, right? Especially during this time right now.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hey, you know what? Before we start our interview, one of the things that I want to do is I just want to brag about you to all the people of Eastvale and everybody who's watching this. Mr. Mayor, you know this, about a month ago, we had a situation where Edison had told us on Friday that the power at our church at Roosevelt High School was going to be shut down on Sunday. Me and some of the staff members of our church, we started calling around frantically at Edison going like, there's no way that you can shut us down. We can't have service outside. It's going to be raining. It's going to short out all of our electronics and our sound system. There's no way that we could do it. They said, sorry. I mean, this has been on the books for a long time. We said that we didn't hear about it. Maybe the correspondence went to the school. But then we called you, and not only are you a friend of our church, but you're just a friend of the people and the organizations of Eastvale. And so you made a call to Edison. And not only did Edison make sure that the work wasn't going to get done until after all of our services, but did I get this right, Mr. Mayor, that you were actually out on the street making sure that the work didn't happen until we were all
Yeah, I'll try to make it quick, but well, first off, I'm glad I was able to help. I don't want to say it was all me. Our city manager, Brian Jones, did a lot of lifting, and also Mark Cloud, who's our government affairs person for Edison, helped out a bit. But it was kind of funny. I remember on Friday night when Edison said, hey, everything's good to go. Everything's good. You guys are solid. And then I remember seeing somehow someone sort of post shot, and I don't know if it was like an email or some type of thread for some of your members of your congregation. And I remember like being really happy, kind of elated that it was happening. And then when I saw that, I just had this huge level of anxiety. Like, and the anxiety was, they told you that it was good, but how do you know it's good? Did that get to the boots on the ground? And I remember just throughout the weekend up to Sunday, I remember just checking thoroughly. And then finally on Sunday, and I'm glad I went down, because I went to Sunday night, and the construction was happening on Orange, I think Orange Street, Orange Avenue. And I went down to talk to the foreman, and he goes, yeah, no, we're going to be shutting down at 11. However, it wasn't going to affect a VantagePoint, but it was going to affect the crossings over at River Heights. So when I went over there, I just said, hey, you guys can't do that. Like, you have to wait till 12 o'clock because that's when everybody's done. And yeah, so you guys would have been fine, and they listened to my direction for you guys, but it didn't happen at River Heights. So when I went down there, they were able to say, yeah, we were planning on shutting down 11, and they didn't. They waited till 12, and then everyone's happy. And my anxiety went down. Because that would have been horrible. Oh, that would have been horrible. If I said, yeah, you guys are good to go, and all of a sudden, yeah, exactly. Oh, I'd have been, I don't think anybody would have let that up either. I would have heard about that forever.
No, we really, I think that says a lot about your heart that you're willing to go out there by yourself. And so if it's okay with you, Mr. Mayor, my children actually made a couple awards for you. Award number 1 is this one right here. Mayor most likely to win in a street fight. So that's award number 1. But I like this one the best right here. Because of your outstanding performance to the city of Eastvale and VantagePoint Church, you get also the mayor most likely to pass for Vin Diesel. So.
Oh man! Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's high praise right there. Okay, now the people. Now, before we start with our real interview, quick lightning round. Our church has put together some questions just to get to know you a little bit. So, what do you do as a day job? Lightning round.
Day job. I work. Yep, I work for a company called Bay Alarm, and I run the national accounts division. So I deal with large national retailers, developers, product managers, or property managers, and we handle their I have about 20 sales reps, and we handle their fire alarm, security alarm, camera, access control needs.
How long have you been married?
I've been married. It'll be 7 years in October. So
how many kids you got?
We have one little girl, Penelope, who's 5.
Okay. Someone in our church wanted to know, do you have a mayor badge that can get you out of speeding tickets?
No, I think that I don't.
What's the use of being mayor then?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, I don't get that. I think that would cause a lot of problems.
Okay. I thought you were above the law.
And I've actually had my fair share of tickets too. So I got to work on my driving game as it is.
Okay. Favorite Disney princess?
Oh, that's a good one. I will say this: the newer generation of princesses I actually like better than the older. Okay. And the reason is they're more ambitious and they got direction and they have a goal or objective. So I'll give you my 2. Tiana from Princess and the Frog. She wanted to own a restaurant. She got a restaurant, right, at the end of the day. And Moana as well. So those 2.
I guess no Mulan. That's okay. You're still a friend of mine.
Right, Mulan. I do like Mulan as well. I would consider a newer age princess, but I think there's just more ambition with those princesses.
Okay, are you more apt to skip leg day or back day?
Oh, that's a good one. For me right now, I'm very focused. I've been through an ACL reconstruction about 3 years ago, and I had a really bad growing tear about 1.5 years, and so now it's all legs. I'm focused on strengthening my legs from here on out. And I think as you get older, legs become more important. So definitely, I'm all about legs, and I'd skip back. And back's kind of boring. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Last lightning round question. What's the first thing that you're gonna do after the quarantine's over?
Oh, I'm gonna go out to eat. Yeah, I'm gonna take the family out, and we're gonna go out and have a dinner. Yeah.
Where are you gonna go?
Yeah.
What's your favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant? You know what? Probably Roscoe's in Chino Hills. So which is here's a plug. It's the same thing as Heroes. So Heroes is coming into Eastville. So, and if Heroes was Eastville, I'd go there first place.
Man, what you and ex-Mayor Rigby have done with Hamner Place, I would absolutely love to talk to you about that sometime, because you guys have just done such a phenomenal job with that. But
yeah, I'd love to. It's a long story, but it's a good one for sure.
Yeah, right. Hey, I think everybody just wants to know, have you always been interested in politics, and what made you run for mayor to begin with?
Yeah, not run as a city council member, because the mayor is just a rotational, rotational position. But
right.
I've always been interested in politics. I always thought maybe when I get older or retire, I would do it. And I really don't have a really good answer other than I just wanted to do it, and that's it. I just wanted to do it, and I feel like I'm good at projects. I'm good at different things. You put me in a difficult scenario, we'll find resolution and solutions, and I just want to do it. But I'm not really, when it comes to being really political, people don't consider me a political person if you were to talk to friends or family. But at the end of the day, in local politics, I think it's just the right person, someone that can get things done.
Yeah.
And that's my MO. And so hopefully when it's all said and done for me, that people are happy with how I represented them.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, what I think is interesting about your time as the mayor is that you're the first mayor of Eastvale that has led the city through a significant crisis. I mean, at least in my perception from the outside, a lot of the mayor's job is the safety of the people and also the financial well-being of a city that's so young. But you've had to kind of take on a different role than most mayors of our city. And I think you've done a great job with that, by the way. But remember when the wave first hit about a month ago, the situation was constantly changing by the hour. So here's what I'd love for you to do. Kind of take us back to that moment about a month ago. What was the hardest thing about being the mayor of a city in that moment? And what was your highest leadership priority?
Well, those are really good questions. So, maybe about in early to mid-March when things started really kind of shifting in a different direction where things are going to absolutely change. There was no panic, but it was one of the first focus was, okay, we got to make sure that we as a city, that our residents are safe,
Yeah.
that our businesses are safe and protected as much as it can be. And then our organization, our city hall, right, and how we function. So one of the first things, and there's a lot of questions, so and let me know if I didn't answer a particular question, but one of the first priorities was, okay, the first thing I was thinking of was, okay, if things start to get really restrictive, how does City Hall operate at this point? Do we do it remotely? Do those things happen? How? Because that's what it looks like it's going to, right? So start thinking about those functionalities, and I can go into more details if you'd like about that. But as far as the number one priority for me in particular, I kind of put on the hat of communications a little bit. Most cities, or not most, but some cities usually allow their city manager to be the face for the communication to the public. Our city manager, Brian Jones, he kind of put the role in, hey, let's handle the operations side, staff, how things get put out. And I'll work directly with communications, our city clerk, Mark Donahue, and his team. What became most important to me was making sure that we put out information on a consistent basis. And you're right, this thing doesn't move daily. This thing moves hourly.
Yeah.
So how do we get in front of everything, and then how do we create a message that is catered to the Eastvale residents? That's something that is customized for Eastvale residents, and to put it out there and accurate information and do it frequently. So, gosh, I've done so many just videos that are script announcements. I've done Q&As on the Eastvale crime page. So, and just that's been the goal and the objective, is to put it out there constantly and just be in front. And and that's kind of been the most. I don't know if I answered all the different.
No, definitely. Can I ask you a follow-up question to that?
Yeah.
Sometimes communicators say this, that when we communicate, that people don't just hear what you say, but they don't remember what you say as much as they remember how you made them feel. Was there, as you communicated a lot of the information to the city of Eastvale, was there a certain mood? Was there a certain feeling that you wanted the people to feel as you were communicating some of the details?
That is a very good question, and it absolutely is. In the words that I say we, because in some of this more of the scripted dialogue, a lot of it was written, by our communications team and Mark, and then I edited some of the things towards the end of those scripts. But the dialogue was definitely no panic, and there's no need to panic, right? There's no need to panic, and just not only that, stay positive. And what's great about that is I don't have to fake it. Like, that's how I am generally. I'm pretty positive, I'm very optimistic, but also realistic in what's happening. And so we wanted to make sure that we were catering messages like that. Again, being accurate, but at the end of the day, treat it just real dialogue, real words, real talk. And that is, this is what we're dealing with. Here are the restrictions. No need to panic. The goal of these restrictions and to adhere to these restrictions are to curb the peaks and valleys, right? To curb that, right? To kind of smooth it out, so we can prevent, less confirmed cases, and in some cases death, that we can prevent these scenarios from happening in our community, that we can at least somewhat have some control of. So it was very important, the types of words that I was using and that was coming up. So yeah, that is absolutely, and it's all about how you frame it and how you talk it. And I hope that my messages conveyed positive reinforcement,
Absolutely.
but also taking it seriously.
And I think that's the part of the job of leadership, isn't it? While everybody else is panicking and while everybody else is feeling what they're feeling, I think the job of leadership is to let everybody know, hey guys, that the ship is still floating, that I'm still encouraged, that everything's going to be okay, that this too shall pass. And I really think you did a great job of that. And on the other hand, I think part of the job of the leader too is to look for the opportunity in crisis. I mean, leaders say this all the time. You never want to waste a crisis. So what do you feel like is the opportunity in the crisis right now?
Oh man, as far as individual or like organizations, or God, there's a lot of things you can choose from there. What area you think?
I'll let it take. Why don't you address individual?
Okay, so individual. Here's the thing. We probably have more time than we used to have. So I think taking the time to self-improve, right? To do those things. I've seen a lot of people on not a lot, but I even this morning on Facebook, there was someone I'm friends with who I read his post this morning, and it was just a really encouraging post. He had lost, just by drinking more water in the last 5 weeks and maybe getting minimal exercise, he lost 30 pounds because he curbed his habits. Yeah, no, I mean, it's an incredible thing, right? So, and just kind of improving that. You can prove yourself spiritually. You can prove yourself in health, and or you want to read something you haven't got to read. I think those are things that we can do to take advantage. But also, I think in this circumstance, I think I'll kind of talk on the organizational side because it does affect individually.
Sure.
Is this is a time where innovation, creativity really starts to flourish. An example on a larger scale. Look at GM and Tesla, right? They shut down their manufacturing facilities, and what do? They start manufacturing ventilators, right? And it's coming together and be more creative. On a more local side, City Hall. When this all went down at City Hall, and this is a testament to our leadership, and I don't mean just our council, but I mean leadership at City Hall with the right directors and managers over different departments, and of course our city manager and city attorney, is within I think the time of, I believe it might have been Governor Newsom's official stay-at-home announcement, which was like March, and somewhere in early mid-March, we literally transformed our City Hall to a remote City Hall in 48 hours.
Wow.
Which is really fast. I mean, really, when you basically closed City Hall doors down, but we were still operating. And we've been able to process permits, plan reviews, plan checks. We can do in-home inspections via online through these type of scenarios right here. These are, and we're still, we are right now this is our busiest time of the year. April, May is the busiest time for cities. We're dealing with budgets right now. We got to have an approved budget by June. So right now we're working on budgets for every department, and everyone has stepped up. You know, our communication department has greatly stepped up, and I think it's been manifested through those videos and presentations, and that's constant. So I think being able to adapt, we're going to find things that, and I think a lot of companies, organizations, individuals will find things, and probably such as yourself, right, in your congregation, is, man, there's some real nuances that we just learned that are actually better than just how we were operating before. There's better, I think we found greater efficiencies and things. So I think that's what you take away from it, is the things that we all can grow from.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on one hand, somebody could look at the church and go, wow, all the churches in Eastvale have been shut down. On the other hand, you could say, wow, there's been a church that's opened up in every single home in Eastvale at this point because of technology and how it is that we've had to adapt over the course of the past month.
I would argue that you probably have more newer exposure than you did before.
Sure, absolutely.
Yep.
Brandon, can I say that one of the things that I really appreciate about you, and whether it be the Edison thing or this interview right here, I've really appreciated just your accessibility as the mayor. I feel like whenever I've texted you, you text me back within seconds, I feel like. And I just want to ask you, is that something, accessibility, is that something that's important to you? And if so, why?
Very important. Even at work, the Bay Alarm at work, same thing. I never let email loads creep up. I don't allow, I like to be in front of people. I look at it as, yeah, I may be a leader of the community, but I'm servicing you guys, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's my position at work, whether it's as a council member, mayor, I'm here to serve, right? And so if you have a question, especially if it's a community leader or if it's a resident, it doesn't matter. I'm here to serve. So my intent is to get back to you as soon as possible. I always have a kind of a code that I kind of live by, is I will get back to you within 24 hours guaranteed. That's how I operate. And part of it is also, I don't like building up a lot of, what do you call it? Just a lot of workload at one time. So I start to get anxiety. If I see my inbox at 30, I don't like that. I can't stand that. I want to see it at 1 or 5, right? Like I can work with that. So I get a little bit of I get uneasy. So but that's the way I've always operated. I like when people get back to, I know how it feels when people get back to me. Yeah. And I try to give everyone my undivided attention and my attention to what their needs are, so it's all about serving. And then when you do that, that also means responding to IMs, text messages, phone calls, emails, whatever it is. And it's important, and it's a reflection of who you are. And that's who I choose to be.
Yeah. I love what you said, because so many times people gain power because they want other people to serve them.
Yeah.
What you're saying is, hey, the higher up I go in the chain, the more that I want to use my influence to serve other people.
No. But that is the essence of leadership. You're serving.
Sure.
That's what it is. And if you don't think that's what it is, then you really need a reality check as you as a leader then, you know?
I love it. I love it. Yeah. What you're saying is that, you know, everybody loves to throw around the phrase servant leadership, but I think what you're saying is that there is really no other kind of leadership.
No, it doesn't.
Leadership at its core is service.
That's it. That's exactly what it is.
Okay,
100%.
let me ask you this. You have a lot of different hats that you have to wear right now. Mayor, provider, employee at Bay Alarm, father, husband. Is balance even possible during a time like this? And what does that look like?
Yeah, well, I'll put it this way. I have a great wife, right? So, and she's also a provider too. She works for the Department of Defense, and so we're very egalitarian in our approach of things. And she allows me, if it's not for her, I probably wouldn't have the balance I have. So that I gotta throw that one right out there and put that out there. But yeah, time management can be tricky, right? Time management can be very, very tricky in how you do things. Yeah, it's you know, being able to balance work with government, family, and then also you know, for me, health and fitness it ranks up there as well. Sure. And taking care of yourself. And the funny thing is I have this kind of saying where you do need to take care of yourself first if you want to perform, whether it's taking care of your family, taking care of city life, of work life. So I always try to get in like a good workout first thing in the morning, or if I can't do the morning, I do it later. And then by that time, my head is clear. I'm Sure. ready to go. And so that actually, when we're talking about balance, that's what helps me give me the balance is kind of blowing some steam real quick at the gym or playing soccer or whatever. And then from there, you know, handle all business and handle it at a very top priority and high level, you know, and giving 100%, you know.
I love that. Yeah. So talk to me. Let's talk about self-care a little bit. There are a lot of people who are cooped up at homes. There are the people who have struggled with depression during this time are probably struggling with depression even more. Mental health right now is at an all-time high. So you work out in the morning. What else does self-care look like for you?
I think, well, self-care, that we were just, you know, that's just more on a health, maybe physical side, whether it's you want to, you know, and I think during this time, and just real quick, I think if anything, what we've learned from this particular virus and any type of virus or disease is, I think hopefully people are recognizing this, hey, I want to be a little bit healthier. I want to have a stronger immune system because that's what it's attacking, right? For the most, not by and large, but I mean, or by and large it is, but not everyone. But yeah, I think, you know, self-care is, you know, whether it's spiritually, right? You want to self-care in that way. I think there's multifacets to it. It's physically right. It's taking care of yourself, maybe emotionally. There's a lot of different ways you can accomplish that, right? But it's being able to have a clear head, a clear mind, and a feel good spirit about yourself. But, you know, one of my first mayor message I did earlier this year is I used the message, and I have like in this coined phrase called "only you." And just remember that only you are responsible for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So in order for you to want to take control of the situations, whether it's, hey, I physically want to do this, or I spiritually want to be better in this, or I just want to have more patience. I'm sure we're all learning from patience right now. Right. And so here's the things that we need to work on. Right. So, but only you are able to allow that. Only you are able to allow, if you want positive influence to affect your life, only you are allowed the ones to embrace it. If you want cruddy influence or bad influence, only you are allowing to let that affect you, right? Bad things will happen, and just like it is now. But how are you going to allow this to affect you? Right now, this experience that we're experiencing, are you allowing it to affect you, right? And I think that's what's really important is allowing, because you control what you want to come into your life and what you want to take, you know, that's positive in your life. So I don't know if I answered that question about the self-help, but
I think that's so good. One of the things I tell people is that you're going to feel whatever you focus on. It's true of your marriage. It's true of your job. If you're looking for bad stuff, guess what? You're going to find it. And if that's what you focus on, that's the way you're going to feel about something. But there's good in job, marriage, everything. And if you focus on that, then what's going to happen is you're going to feel that as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for this. I think it was hugely beneficial for a lot of people. But I just want to ask you, is there anything else that you'd like to say to the people who may be watching this?
Yeah, well, no, I appreciate it. And thank you again for allowing me to come on. This is always fun. I love chatting it up with you, man. You're always fun. And when we get to the pastor's breakfast, and it's always a good time. You're always making me laugh. So, but no, I do want to say, I think during this time, and I've in this experience, and this has been a very humbling experience for me. It's definitely like anybody else. I'm no different. This is a learning experience, and how to kind of navigate through this kind of whole crisis, if that's what you want to call it. But what I want to do is that what I want to kind of share is that, in the media and just news in general, it's kind of there's a negative connotation what's going on, and it probably warrants it. We're dealing with a pandemic, right? But it's constant. And I'm telling you from my experience right now, and I've got to see a lot more than what a lot of people will see, is there's so much good stories versus anything that's bad. There's way more good stories out there than bad. And I think to embrace some of the good stories, again, be realistic. We're dealing with a pandemic, right? It's definitely affected our lives, but there's so many great stories about people sharing, caring. Part of, and this was not the city, this was the residents, came together and through one of my colleagues, or not colleagues, but one of my friend, Don Pettinger, we created, a marketplace where people can give and share things back and forth with each other. So, people that couldn't get something or didn't have the money to get certain things, or they couldn't get toilet paper because it was like ridiculously inaccessible to get toilet paper a few weeks ago. There's a place where people were giving toilet paper away, right? And there's just so much good in sharing. There's people that are fixing people's sprinkler systems, right? Because they need it, or fixing a leak in their house. There's just random donations to some of our restaurants. Right now, I'm so impressed with our community. Not that I'd expect anything less, but there's so much that's going on that's good that I think we need to embrace that even more as a community. And I always tell people, if you're feeling, the answer is very simple. And it talks about a lot in the Bible as well, is if you want to feel good about yourself, if you ever were feeling crummy and good about yourself, and it's hard for our minds to grasp around this, but charity is the purest of all love, right? And if you want to feel good about yourself, be charitable. Yeah. Do something good. There's so many opportunities right now. There's so many people that are in need. And if you want to feel better and if you want to improve self-help, go do something positive for somebody else and look at how you're going to feel after that. That's the key. And I think that's the key, that's the message that's actually one of the key messages when this first all brought out, that was my message, was to give, to share, feel better about yourself, get out there and be charitable. Be charitable as much as you possibly can. And I think that's how, we kind of fight through these things, right? Especially with whether it's mental or psychological things that we're dealing with. Those are some key answers right there,
I love it. Who would ever thought that when Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself, that he was actually talking about your neighbor? And that's what you're saying, that we as a city and a community, that if we just all loved our neighbor, that we'd be a better place. Well, I think, Mr. Mayor, part of the reason why our city is so great is because followership is always a reflection of leadership. And I think that you have led us very, very well during this crisis. So thank you very much for everything that you've done.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. You're an amazing leader as well. I'm also blessed with having amazing colleagues. I got a good group of council members who support me, and when they were mayors, I supported them, and we got good leadership at the city staff level as well. So it's kind of easy to be able to do this when you got a lot of good strength around you as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for everything, Mr. Mayor. Have a great day.
You bet. You too. Take care. We'll see ya.